I've been at anchor here a few days, and if it weren't for the swell, it'd be rather swell. But in this quiet, happy bay, a dark, insidious incident will take place. It's a bay regularly visited by our friends on the schooner Oosterschelde. They had brought a new crew of guests from the island of Sal, sailed overnight to arrive at the break of dawn. What a sight. While Nat lapped a leisurely swim to visit the schooner crew, I took a leisurely stroll to provision for our extended stay. I went to the market for vegetables and to visit a friend who would provide me with entertainment essentials. This is Prince from Nigeria, and he has good grooves.
Prince here loaded up a bunch of cool music for me on a pen drive, as they say here, USB stick. I'm all loaded with cool tunes. Thank you, Prince.
Yeah, good. I'm the DJ, you know. I give Nigerian jams here in Tarrafal. So check my music, you know. Yeah.
Here at the market, they can also make custom apparel, which results in fresh new African fashion styles. Prince is lucky to have his daughter visit him at work. He also works nights as a receptionist at a hotel. He speaks English and French. He has a stall here offering services to fix just about anything.
I do everything: watch, check, natural.
Wonder if he could fix my charger.
He's skilled at electronic repairs as well as shoes. And of course, he's a trendy DJ who puts on Nigerian jams. People here don't throw things away, they repair them. Such a contrast to my old way of disposable thinking. Nat repaired the shoes she almost disposed of, and I got a bunch more cool Afrobeat grooves. Another liveaboard challenge is the dinghy dock. It doesn't exist here. You gotta drag your dinghy on and off the beach, well out of the tide's reach. There is almost always someone to offer help. It's good karma if you offer help beaching the heavy wooden fishing boats ashore. That's about the extent of what I could carry on my back. It should last a few days. I'm not using my refrigerator much, so I get stuff that has some shelf life. Meanwhile, the schooner is getting ready to sail up to São Vicente. It was the captain's birthday yesterday, so we had visited the night before and went ashore for a few rounds of grog with a couple of crew members. I had been wanting to see Oosterschelde under sail. Well, there we have it. When we first arrived in Cape Verde, we met a couple of French girls who had been boat hitchhiking. I offered them a place to stay for a couple nights and we stayed in touch. A few days ago, one of the girls reached out. She was staying in Praia after traveling all over Northwest Africa alone. I invited her over to visit. She'd been wanting to see Tarrafal.
So we've got a new friend aboard, Lola. Lola, we met a year and 4 months ago, precisely. She's one of the first people we met here in Mindelo. And now she's back. She called up. She was in Praia. She says, "What are you doing?" She came up to visit. We're going to go hit the town. Me, Lola, and Natasha.
You may remember Lola from episode 4 of season 4 of Voyage, the Cape Verde season. She sang this song on Gallup. She's often a hit when she breaks out in local joints. The night went on, Lola played at different spots, and we made friends, locals and cruisers. Being who we are, we spend more time with locals. We invited Sandro and tow to Gallup to continue the fun. There's no night spot in Tarrafal, really. No weekend disco, so we improvised on the boat. The guys are delighted. Meanwhile, the cruising neighbors in the yacht next to us experienced something much different. We don't know if the following that happened was when we were on the boat or ashore. Four guys swam out to their boat, came on board with knives. There were 3 men aboard. They were tied, gagged, and blindfolded. With knives at their throat, they were ordered to give money, valuables, and electronics. As well as a waterproof bag. They left the 3 men gagged and bound and swam away with the goods. The 3 men got free and went to the police, but by then the phone location signal was reported in Praia. Everything was gone. We blissfully continued until sunrise. It was a little later that day that one of the cruisers, Benny, explained what happened. I'm convinced it was not people from Tarrafal who committed this heinous offense. Tarrafal is a peaceful village. Everyone knows each other and word gets around. The village is just too small. There's more to this story. The thieves came from the big city. How did they know to come? How was that yacht targeted? Life here is cool and chilled. The locals depend on tourists, and they don't want them scared away. And here's another story, this abandoned development. Apparently it was a Spanish investment, but they wanted to take over the beach. It did not go over well with the locals, and now it's just a ruin. But the locals still have their beach to enjoy as they like. This is our friend Sandro. He organized a beach barbecue for the evening later on. He invited local friends and new visiting friends. He made a batch of caipirinas, got some fish and potatoes to grill on an open fire, and turned on the music. Here, we're having a good time. But thinking about it now, us sailors are always on the verge of disaster. We can ground our boat like Jurgen did in Mindelo, or we could be robbed like the charter boat next to us. And that's just sitting there at anchor. But I love this life of living on the edge. You could be singing your last song, dancing your last dance. But it's the closest I've ever been to being truly free.
Yeah, and the street digging a stern of Fornaya to the army to this guy. Nigga Jabusavi and Modi, a leaking port, suka support nigga Bokita 40. Not the Polipala, Butaro, the Mokida, Mama just selling a casa, you go with the first kill there, Abu a grand for Busirbi, Abu a grand, Nunca Kabu desiste, Cabassi Epa Pianza, Mundiness Mundili Epanuta in front, yeah, or love for touring your niggas, Kisadian City Tarabian. Yeah.
Eita.